In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a couple things the Galaxy S25 FE gets wrong. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, hopefully you guys are having a good day. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. We have the Galaxy S25 FE in the house right here, and I've had this device for 2 weeks now, and I feel like this device does a lot right, but I also feel like there are a few things wrong with this device after my 2 weeks of use. And a lot of people, they're grasping at straws. They're saying the Exynos 2400 is too underpowered. You know, they would rather have the Snapdragon 8 Elite. Of course they would. Of course that would be a better processor, but that doesn't make sense business-wise, and that doesn't make sense to these companies to release a flagship processor inside a fan edition phone or inside a mid-range device. Of course, 8 gigabytes of RAM may be a little low for you, but there's a lot of these things that are kind of short-lived as far as like cons go. And I've been hearing a lot of stuff and reading a lot of stuff on Reddit about people just grasping at straws, talking a lot of bad stuff about the S25 FE. And honestly, I really think there's only two issues here. Really two issues when it comes down to the average consumer out there. Of course, a nerd, they can figure out exactly what they want. They can, pinpoint what type of specifications are going to be best for them. But the average person watching these types of videos, they're the average consumer. They're not somebody who's super up to date with the newest phones, or they don't know about processors. They may not know about certain specs or certain internals about phones and stuff like that, and they just want a good phone to go around and take pictures and scroll through social media, maybe play some games from time to time. But they just want a phone that's going to be decent, that's going to last them a decent amount of time. For the majority of people out there, of course, you got them nerds who have a million different cons about the S25 FE, but here's two things the Galaxy S25 FE just gets completely wrong. Of course, the first one, I'm going to reiterate it again and again. The Galaxy S25 FE, the price tag on this device is too dang high. And if you guys know, the Galaxy S25 Plus and other markets is only about $50 more than the Galaxy S25 FE. I believe you can get it for like €709 or £709 in the UK and other parts of Europe out there. So it really doesn't make sense to get the Galaxy S25 FE for the people that are out in the UK or anywhere in Europe that offers that price tag. And of course, if Samsung didn't manipulate the prices in the United States like they usually do every time they drop a fan edition device or a competing phone, we would have the same thing that would be happening right now as well, with the $50 or $60 more just to get the Galaxy S25 Plus. So that is the biggest reason to not pick up this device. I feel like once this goes to $500, this is going to be selling like hotcakes. I feel like that's the sweet spot price for this phone, is $500. Again, that's the thing I've been saying over and over again in multiple videos, and that's something I'm going to hold on to, is the price is too dang high. At $649, there's a lot of examples out there under $600 just to get the regular Galaxy S25, a full-on flagship device with Snapdragon 8 Elite and, the best camera specifications inside there as well. So it doesn't make sense to pick up this device at $649. But the second more underrated thing the Galaxy S25 FE does wrong is the storage. I heard a lot of people talk about, cameras. I heard a lot of people talk about RAM and a bunch of different stuff like that. The processor, of course, how the processor is underpowered. But I don't hear enough people out there talking about the internal storage on these devices. Now, as you guys know, the Galaxy S25 FE has 3 different device options. We have 128, we have 256, and we have 512 gigabytes. The higher you go, the more you're going to pay. But the big thing is I feel like a base storage for a phone that's essentially at, the Galaxy S25 or almost at the Galaxy S25's price tag, at $649, I feel like you should have a base storage in 2025 when all these apps and all these photos and videos take so much storage up. The base storage should be at 256 gigs. I don't think for $649 phones, 128 is going to do it anymore. There are much bigger applications out there. There's video games that are like 15 gigabytes, 30 gigabytes just for one game in your phone. And, people are not going to want to delete photos and videos and apps all the time. just to have that storage. Of course, you have that cloud storage option. But my reasoning and my fight for this 256 base storage on the S25 FE has to do with something very, very basic. It has to do with Motorola's mid-range and budget phones. So, as you guys know, the mid-range phones like Motorola Razr 2025, which is essentially a $600 phone, and the Moto G Stylus, that is a $399 phone, and the Motorola Edge for that matter as well, let's throw that in there. Those devices have base storages of 256 gigs. Now, when you put those devices next to the Galaxy S25 FE, that's double the storage of this device, and you're paying $650 for it. So that's the second complaint, and probably my only other complaint, next to the price is, of course, too damn high. What about the storage? So yeah, I feel like the storage is too little. I feel like it should have had 256 gigs instead of 128. That is my TED Talk. No, but for real, a lot of people aren't talking about that. Am I crazy though? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video though, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell down below to be notified every time I upload a new video. This has been Safon from TechRight. Peace out, Tech Gang.